Now, Don Genesso challenged me on that, and he said, you need to prove it to me.
Yes.
Yes.
But I don't know, and we have to prove to everybody that the property is developed, right? Because nobody's going to give a building permit, the bank's not going to lend you any money, and the tenant isn't going to agree to take possession of the building if they can't have use. So far, everything we have, the Alta surveys, and the discussions with the gas company where we are today, we're not seeing the issue. We're not having the issue. And as we get further into it, I'm very happy to share with you everything we know. I mean, if it can't be developed, I don't want to own it. That's it. But so far, I spent a lot of money, and everything I'm saying, K2 Engineering here with us as well, the property can be developed, and there are no encroachments or encumbrances that would not allow us to use the building the way we see fit.
I have a question. Since the December Planning Commission meeting, what changes have you made with the alignment of your driveway? Has any changes been made there?
No, we have not made any changes with the driveway. Those driveways,
I believe the issue with the alignment of the driveway was that it was believed that the house was directly across from the driveway, and we have since measured out the location of the house and where our driveway is, and it is not directly across from the current residential home that's there.
But the problem at the planning commission meeting was that if somebody were to purchase that house directly across, the lights would go directly into that home on a regular basis. If you make a left-hand turn out of your parking lot into, you're going to be shining the lights. I think the problem's still there. And to be honest, I think that you're putting the cart before the horse. You should have stayed at our planning commission until you resolved all of their issues and then come to us. I'm really struggling to understand why you're even here tonight, to be honest.
Well, there's also a second issue with our permitting. We are at a permitting impasse where we need to get final approval from you. We need all of our permits in hand. We can't get our HOP in hand unless we get final approval from you. So it's a cycle that we can't break from unless we're able to get the HOP.
Dan, is that true?
Yeah, they do need action on a highway occupancy permit. The PennDOT now requires the township to state in a letter that there's no traffic impact study required for this project, which there isn't. We've reviewed the traffic impact, and it's really the state's call on the driveway itself. It's their call. It's that it needs a highway occupancy permit, that they can't start that process with the state until the township at least says that. That's why we wanted to bring this before you tonight.
I can't speak for the entire board, but I am not at all comfortable giving you approval to go for a highway occupancy when you haven't even finished approval for the building and the location itself.
Actually, it's not even, they're not asking for any approval for an HOP. The law requires that if the township determines there's no impact, that we have to notify PennDOT of, that's all they want to know. Is there an impact? Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. There's
They're not asking for any approval from us for HOP.
What do you mean they're not? They're asking for approval.
Can you explain it again?
Yeah, so Cindy, we're not approving anything if you consider the second action. It's just allowing us to let PennDOT know that an impact study is not required. That's all we're telling them.
But your motion says
From the,
presentation with no action.
But we are taking action.
the action would be just to authorize us to let PennDOT know that there's no traffic study required.
I think it's the next item on your agenda.
Should we finish with the planning commission before they come here?
Well, they asked us as a courtesy, and we're trying to work with them. We're trying to work with them also to at least bring this before the board, so that if there were any questions tonight, that those can be put out on the table before they go back to the planning commission. They're not disputing that they go back there. The only thing they're asking us to do tonight is to write a letter to PennDOT saying that we don't require a traffic impact study, and these things don't. There's no impact study required either. I will state on the driveway issue, nobody knew where the house was that night of the planning commission meeting. Since they've located it, the planning commission's concerns were that it was a direct impact, that if you would pull there straight out, be waiting to make a turn, the lights would be shining right in into the building. I mean, unfortunately, that house is right on the highway. Even if you make a right turn out of our driveway, you shine lights onto that house. But we were concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a little further down. Yeah, but, I mean, you know, it's a difficult thing on this property to get the correct measurements for site distance and everything else that PennDOT requires. And that, you know, all that we're doing, PennDOT will scrutinize this whole thing themselves too, but they can't even start that process until the township at least gives them a letter saying there's an impact study not resolved or not required. That's the only thing that's being asked for tonight.
On a smaller scale, people ask us that, they ask us that all the time. They ask us, do we need a permit to replace the shingles in our house? We can tell them the answer, no, you don't need a permit to replace the shingles in your house. That's what they're asking. Do we need the township to require an occupancy or traffic study? And PennDOT just needs to hear from us that no, we don't require it. They're not asking for any approval.
That's correct. And that action item is item number 20, 2017. So while there is no action needed on item number 19, there is an action on number 20.
And really the whole reason we were here was just to expose you to this because we knew as soon as, or we assumed that as soon as the next item came up, you would say, well, why do you need this? And part of this is we're trying to expeditiously get through our process. We've worked hand in hand with Bruce and Don and Nan to get this site plan and modifications. We're not asking for any variances. We're zoned correctly. And we just want to play by the rules. We want to break ground in March. We're going to deliver the store on July 1st.
You could have been approved, and you should have been approved in December at planning, but you came unprepared in November. So,
I won't argue that. I wasn't here for that. But today is today. And now what we're going to do, we expose you all to the project. We're going to go back to the planning commission. We'll be back here the first week in February. And part of this is, if there's something you don't like, you should let us know, at least through Dan or Bruce or Don, so that we can get it.
the something that I don't like is you should follow the process, which means you should let planning commission review it until they're satisfied and send it to us, at which point it would come to us for our approval. That's, I don't like
You made it
this.
clear, your position on it.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize Gateway to send a letter to
Well,
PennDOT.
Eric has still a question on
Oh,
that.
I'm sorry.
Just a question of when it goes back to planning commission, I might even ask chief to evaluate, but I'm not certain of that visibility. Our officer's making a right-hand turn out of there, and we should have a lot further visibility, and those bushes or trees, whatever, go all the way to the end.
I agree.
I'd like your opinion on that, or what would be.
We would be very happy to eliminate it. Typically, those are low shrubs. We don't let them grow very tall because of the site visibility issues, but you know, certainly if that's not the right, and those are the kind of things that we'll pick up in the planning commission, and we're happy to do it. This is a rendering. When we get to the nuts and the bolts and we sit down with Gateway to do the final plans, that's where we'll pick up most of this. This is kind of a macro look of what's coming, and then we'll get into the micro and the detail as we get through the process.
But I think as you go through the process, I think you'll see that the solution comes to pull them back somewhat rather than eliminating them, which also aids the site distance. But I know you'll work that out.
Or so that you would know, well, I'm only one member of the board, but I would like to see pines or different things that would block the building throughout the seasons, you know, not just the trees as you illustrate in the picture. So those could be larger on the side next to the police office, but where the police office parking lot is, but shorter up in the front, just so that the police certainly had visibility, I don't know, 50, 100 feet even, to get out in an
That's a good
emergency.
point. We'll look at that with Sean between now and the planning commission meeting and see what adjustment can be made at that driveway.
I agree, thank you.
Then actually, this view looking down, it appears to be deciduous.
They are.
I'm not a horticultural botanist. I don't know exactly what those trees, I know they're ugly, and they need
There
to
are
shade.
existing trees that are out there right now, Mr. Puff Rector's trees, but they're not much to them.
Okay. All right, Eric, anything else?
No.
All right, I'm
No,
sorry.
I can make the motion.
I'll second the motion.
The motion is to authorize.
Gateway to write to PennDOT and
Second.
let them know that a traffic impact study is not required.
There's a motion and a second. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Yeah.
No.
Am I correct, it's 3 ayes? It was ayes, so I think it's 3 ayes.
3-2.
Okay, Carol, please let the record show the motion passes on a 3-2 vote with Mr. Vizio and Ms. Fisher voting nay. All right, for 02021, thank you guys. For 021-2017, it's to consider the allocation of $50,000 of our CDBG money towards home rehabilitation for Cecil Township families that are on the list with Washington County. Our remaining $12,300 could be applied for code enforcement of demolition of dilapidated structures throughout the township. Let's at least get a motion, because I know we've got to allocate this money this month or we're going to lose it. Let's get a motion in a second and we can discuss it.
I will make a motion.
Been moved, and a second. Been moved and seconded. Dawn, you want to tell them how this came about, obviously, on short notice?
We don't have to do this until the end of January, so it's still open for us? Is
No,
that what you said?
actually, Kerry Fox, the county would like something in his hands by the end of this week.
Oh, I thought you said the end of this month.
No, by the end of this week. The CDBG funds stand for Community Development Block Grant Programs. What it is financial assistance that's provided to the township through the county. Cecil Township is eligible every 3 years for this money. Normally the funds must be used to assist low to moderate income families in some way or fashion. In the past, the township has utilized roadway construction projects utilizing this money. They have assisted low income families for sewer taps, most recently the Miller's Run program. In the past, we've also used the funds to demolish structures that were abandoned and were blights to the community. Excuse me. This year, the money is significantly less than what we've seen in previous years. Which I remember years when it was closer to $175,000 that we were given. So this is a big cut for us.
And the new rule, but.
And the new rule is,
And banking.
you used to be able to roll your funds over. If we didn't have a project this year, we could let it go till the next funding stream came around. Well, at the last minute, Mr. Fox indicated that no, that you can no longer do that. So lacking a viable project with the time constraints that the county gave us, what he told us, what Mr. Fox indicated was instead of losing the funds, what you could do is utilize these funds to assist families needing home rehabilitation that are on a list with the county. These families must meet certain income requirements. They're on a list that's maintained in the county, and the homes are in Cecil Township. Each of those families, there will be 2 families that will benefit from this money. They'll receive $25,000. That money and that project will be monitored by the county. Yes.
I'm sorry. I have one question. How much notice did you get from whomever sent this?
I think 2 months' notice from
2
Karen.
months?
Yes.
Well, if we'd been made aware of it 2 months before, we could have devoted this to the roads.
In past years, I've been notified in March that you're eligible this year, so that would give you a long window for the board to come up with a viable project.
Right.
As soon as I received this information, it was provided to the board. I know that we talked about some programs, but nothing really came up. But the option for the board in front of them now is instead of losing that money, they could put it to good use.
Well, in the future, when we only have 2 months to decide, or if it's 2 weeks, whatever it is, we should be notified immediately, because this money could be used to benefit more than 2 houses. It could be used to benefit most of a community with the roads.
I think the board would agree a very viable use for the money would be assistance to families in Lawrence if they qualify. The problem is the guidelines within this program specify that it has to be a project that's ready to go in 2017.
Right.
Since Lawrence isn't ready to go in 2017, that couldn't be considered.
Since what?
Since the Lawrence Sewer Project would not get underway in 2017.
No, I was thinking of Hendersonville. And
If road reason Hendersonville, right.